The certified letter felt heavy in my hands, heavier than paper should feel. I stood in my driveway, the Arizona sun beating down mercilessly, and read the words that would change everything. Notice of violation. Illegal water usage. Fine. $500. Daily penalties will accrue. I'm Marcus Webb, 52, a retired civil engineer who moved to Desert Springs Estates for the quiet and the space. My property sits on 3 acres at the edge of the development, land I specifically chose because it came with something rare in Arizona, a private well, drilled in 1947, fully operational and grandfathered into every water rights agreement in the county. The HOA knew this when I bought the property. Or they should have. I walked to my backyard where my vegetable garden thrived, tomatoes, peppers, squash, all fed by my well. The garden was my pride, my retirement project. Neighbors actually stopped by to admire it. Apparently, that admiration had turned toxic. The emergency HOA meeting was called for the following Thursday. I arrived early, documents in a leather folder, wearing jeans and a simple grey button-down. The community center was packed. At the head table sat 3 board members, but the one in the middle commanded all the attention. Diane Kruger, HOA president. 60 years old, with razor-sharp silver hair styled like a helmet, wearing a burgundy pantsuit that screamed authority. Her eyes were ice blue and calculating. "Mr. Webb," she said, her voice saccharine. "Thank you for joining us." "I received your violation notice," I said calmly. "There's been a mistake." "No mistake. You've been using excessive water. We've had reports of your garden running irrigation systems daily. That violates our drought conservation policy." "I use my private well. It doesn't pull from community resources." Diane's smile sharpened. "All properties in Desert Springs Estates are connected to the municipal water system. Private wells are prohibited under Section 12 of our covenants. My well predates your HOA by 70 years. It's protected by state water rights." "Your well," Diane said slowly, "is illegal. You will cap it, connect to municipal water, and pay the fine. Or we'll place a lien on your property." Murmurs spread through the crowd. I saw the Hendersons nodding, the Patels whispering, the Johnsons looking uncomfortable but silent. "I have documentation," I said, opening my folder. "State water rights certificates, county records, and the original property deed. My well is legal and protected." Diane didn't even glance at the papers. "Our lawyers have reviewed the covenants. Your well is in violation. You have 2 weeks to comply or face escalating fines of $100 per day. This is extortion. This is community standards, Mr. Webb." I left the meeting with my jaw clenched and my mind racing. The fines started immediately. $100 a day. Diane sent daily emails with updated totals, each one more gleeful than the last. By day 10, I owed $1,000. She posted updates on the neighborhood Facebook group, painting me as a water thief destroying property values. Webb refuses to comply with basic conservation rules. Some people think they're above the community. My neighbors stopped waving. The Patels avoided eye contact. Someone left a note on my truck, "Stop being selfish." But I wasn't angry. I was methodical. I contacted the Arizona Department of Water Resources. I requested a formal review of my water rights. I pulled every document related to my well, drilling permits from 1947, water quality tests, usage logs, and the original land grant that established permanent water rights for my property. Then I found the leverage. Desert Springs Estates was built on what used to be agricultural land. When the developer bought it in 2003, they signed an agreement acknowledging existing water rights, including mine. The HOA covenants couldn't override state water law. But there was more. The HOA's own wells, the ones feeding the community parks and common areas, were pulling from the same aquifer as mine. And according to county records, they were over their permitted usage by 30%. The HOA was violating the exact conservation laws they were using to fine me. I filed a formal complaint with the state and requested an emergency hearing. The hearing was scheduled for 3 weeks later. Diane tried to block it, sending her lawyers to argue I was wasting state resources. They failed. The day of the hearing, I arrived with my folder expanded into 3 binders. Diane showed up with 2 lawyers and a smug expression. The state water commissioner, a no-nonsense woman named Sandra Ortiz, listened to both sides. Diane presented the HOA covenants, the violation notices, and testimonials from neighbors about my excessive usage. Then it was my turn. I presented my water rights certificate, the 1947 drilling permit, and the developer's signed agreement acknowledging my well. I showed usage logs proving I consumed less water than the average household. Then I dropped the hammer. The HOA's common area wells are exceeding permitted usage by 30%, I said, sliding the county records across the table. They're violating the same conservation laws they're accusing me of breaking. Diane's face went white. Commissioner Ortiz reviewed the documents silently. Finally, she looked up. Mr. Webb's well is fully protected under state water rights. The HOA has no authority to restrict or fine him. Furthermore, the HOA is in violation of state water usage limits. I'm issuing a cease and desist order and referring this to the Attorney General for investigation. Diane stood abruptly. This is over, Ortiz said flatly. The HOA dropped all fines within 48 hours. Diane resigned 2 weeks later, citing health reasons. The state investigation revealed the HOA had been overcharging residents for water while exceeding usage limits themselves. 3 board members were removed. New leadership took over. My garden still thrives. My well still runs. And every time I water my tomatoes, I think about Diane's face when she realized she'd picked a fight with the wrong engineer. They forgot one simple truth. Water rights in Arizona aren't suggestions. They're law.